Hey folks, what's going on? Just another addition to getting this truck into primer. Cab is now in 2 coats of epoxy and 3 coats of high build primer. I think my body works close enough. We're going to let her slide with 3 coats unless I find anything crazy. I know there's not a lot of light in here, but one thing I ran into once I started cleaning it up, and you can't see it now because it's primed, but around every one of those trim clip rivets was rust. So I cleaned it up the best that I could with the windshield being in it. The windshield's not in the greatest shape, but we're not getting it changed, so that's where it is. So all the parts and the bed, everything's in primer. So it'll just be a block job and she'll be ready to go. And I got my trusty Milwaukee stand light here. I love this thing. But this side's all good. Trying to see if I could even see my filler work. There were some dents in the top of this, but right now it looks good. Well, we'll know once I block it. A little Scotch-Brite fuzzy for you. Alright guys, that's it. I'll bring you back when it's blocked out and ready to paint. Alright guys, another installment on this F350. I got the camera focused here on a little bit of epoxy primer. Now when you're tired, you shouldn't be painting, because I grabbed the 2K primer hardener and put it in there, and that's what happened. Now I caught it as soon as I dumped it. That's why it's still sitting here full. I never used a bit of it. It forced me to open another quart of epoxy primer. I ruined probably a third to half of a quart by dumping the wrong hardener in it, but you can see, I mean, it's like cottage cheese in there. Yep. So last video installment was the aftermath of getting this cab all primed up. We'll look at that in a little bit. I've gone around and these fenders and the hood and the doors have all been sitting for like over a week. And they've had 2 days out in the sun as well. This is SPI turbo primer. 2 coats of epoxy first. They sat a day or two and then got primed with 3 coats. And I'm blocking them out. And it's okay if you hit back to the epoxy. It's not going to hurt anything. As long as you don't cut through to a bare metal, you're good. These things, I just went over them with the DA. This is not a show car job. I'm not trying to make it pin straight. I'm trying to take any body filler to bare metal transition out, things like that. And this with 320 and a DA pad will do it. Sand it real quick, guide coat it, and then start running over it with the DA. If you've got a flat area like a hood, you can take the interface pad off of it and block across this. But this hood I just did real quick in 400, and then right before I right before I paint everything, I will do 600 grit and make sure everything has a fresh scuff on it, because this may sit for another week. I just wanted to make sure I didn't have to prime it again. The hood I knew was in good shape, so really wasn't a question. But I'm working on this stone guard panel, and I did the I got some guide coat on it there. It's really fine because all this stuff got stripped to bare metal. This got mostly stripped to bare metal, like on the ends where it's flat. There were a couple little dents in it. I've guide coated it, and we're going to block it out. I don't even see any scratches in it, so that's good enough for me. These doors, I'll bring you back in a little bit once I get to the doors, because these are the ones that have the big area of filler, thin filler, but filler nonetheless. So I want you guys to see how that all blocks out, and you'll realize that even though that's only 6 inches of pad, that for a production type job that's small, like these areas where the filler are, and they're pretty much dead nuts anyway, that'll do the job for you. So I just wanted to bring that up. I mentioned it before, but as long as you guide coat it, you know, you're welcome to take a long block over it and sort of check before you start using the DA, and that'll tell you whether it's going to work or not. If there's some real horrible transitions that you didn't get right with your filler, then no, the DA is not going to hide all that. But if it's pretty much dead on and you go with some 320, you could even go lower if you plan on repriming it. I mean, you could go 180 if you wanted to, but you'll burn through the primer a heck of a lot quicker. We're just trying to hide scratches and filler to metal transitions here. We're not trying to make the truck pin straight. And for all intents and purposes, most people wouldn't know to even say, well, it doesn't look right. We're not doing a bedside here. It's not like a pickup truck, you know? You're not gonna see anything inside these doors. The doors are shut. You're not gonna see anything on the back of the cab. Hell, you're not even gonna see the roof. But you are gonna see these side pillars, the doors, the fenders, and the hood. So we're gonna make sure those are as nice as they can possibly be, so when you look down the side of the truck, like this, you don't see, you know, it's not going like this. The fenders won't because they were stripped. The doors really won't either because they were bare steel all the way up to here. It's just filler, so we're just fixing a transition from primer to metal. There's really nothing to do it. Now, if you're the kind of person that is going to try and put your body filler over a bunch of feather-edged paint, now I'm not saying it won't work, because it works, then you need to do a little bit more work on your blocking just to make sure that you don't notice it. It still works, it's just because I've done it this way, I can do it with the DA and get away with it. So we'll bring you guys back when I get some more of this stuff prepped up, especially the doors. I want to show you the doors. All right, on to the doors here. I've done a quick block on them, and you can see there's a dark spot there. That's just a tiny bit low. That's right where the mirror is. I'm not going to fuss with it. This door only had that hole repaired. The other hole is a factory hole. It was the only one that didn't rip out and wasn't all rusted to beat the band. So I'll show you how I did this to come up with where I'm at right now. I'm going to put you guys on the stand, I suppose. That would be the right thing to do so I'm not shaking you all over. I use the dry guide coat. I don't have the top for it. All I have is the sponge part of it here. We'll wipe this whole area of the door. Remember, this is the only part of the door with bodywork in it. The rest of it's just paint that I primed over. Had a little bit of a feather edge up at the top, but from here down was all bare steel with a little bit of filler in the middle. So all we need to do is pick up any low spots. Okay, so that's guide coated. Now this may not be the right block for the job. I'd like one that's a little softer than this. This thing's pretty rigid. It's got 320 on it. Now you can cross sand the door like this. For something like this, I block straight down the door. I'm not going to cut big grooves in it. You don't keep sanding the same spot. You move all over the place. But you're going to see that this area that was filler in here isn't showing anything. I'll block it real quick, blow it off, just so you get the idea. Then I can run over the rest of it with the DA. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is all that's left to where the bodywork was. You can see a little dark spot here, here, and up here. And it feels pretty good. I don't feel any lumps going over it. I mean, that's good. That's 320. I don't want to block too much farther. I've only got 3 coats of primer on this. That's 2 rounds real quick with some 320 to knock that mess out. We'll hit it with the DA and should be good to go. I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. If your body works close, you're not going to have to block and block and block and block. And cross sanding is good for your body filler, you know, going in an X pattern back and forth. But for this, as close as it is, straight line sanding, you'll never know. At first, I always suggest people cross sand because it's the right way to do it, but you can get away with straight line sanding across this. It's not going to make it laser straight, but it'll get rid of the ripple. So, there you go. That's the way I do it. Alright, one last thing for this vid. I wanted to give you guys a final on these doors. They are both blocked down in 320, and the only thing, this is a driver's door, there was a dent here that I missed. Now, I don't recommend putting 2K or body putty over 2K primer, but it is what it is in this case. I've done it. As long as it's not thick, I wouldn't worry about it. And I will block that with a piece of 180 just to take the top off and then 320 it. And if I have to spot prime it, I will. But these breakthroughs on the door, I thought they were body filler, but the more I look at them, I'll show you an area that doesn't have body filler in it, that's white or super light gray. So I actually didn't hit body filler. That's the epoxy underneath, because you can see the little white edge. Maybe, no, it's too bright over here, but there's a little white there. And you can also see I actually broke through a little farther than I wanted to, and there's a little green, but I will spot those with epoxy. So they actually blocked out really good. Nothing to worry about. Anything that I've got that isn't 2K primer showing or bare steel, I will spot a little reduced epoxy over so that that steel is protected. But just wanted to give you a quick final on that blocking them real quick with a long block and then buzzing them with the DA, they turn out good. They really do. A little discouraged that I missed that dent, but like I said, we're not going for perfect, but this is a driver door, so I at least, you know, right where you're looking at the driver door, I don't want to see a dent in it right there. The rest of it turned out good. And I started blocking the cab just a little, and I primed it about 24 hours ago just to see how it was, and it powders right up. One thing I may try the next time I prime something with Southern Polyurethane's turbo primer is to use it 4-to-1 and not add the 1 part reducer with it, because I got 3 coats on this and I really didn't expect to block through it because I didn't block it that hard. So it's not considered a high build primer. It's kind of a medium build or regular build. It's just a fast primer. So it worked awesome. I'm gonna try it the other way and see how I like it next time. So that's it for now. We'll catch you on the next one.